Did you know that Hitler's half-brother worked in the Shelbourne Hotel in Dublin? He eloped with an Irish woman and then he had a son called Paddy Hitler. Historian and author of the Come Here To Me blog, Donal Fallon, is with us once again with another episode of Hidden History. So Hitler's father had, was it 3 different wives and sets of children?
Indeed. I suppose any genealogist will tell you when you're looking at your family tree, you don't really want to find European dictators on there. But for one Dublin family, that is the case for the Dowling family. And it all begins really with the crazy love life of Adolf Hitler's father, Alois Hitler Sr. Now, there was a brother, or a half-brother of Hitler, Alois Hitler Jr., who was born in Vienna in 1882. And there's a great pub story in Dublin that Hitler's brother worked in the Shelbourne Hotel. It's half true, because the half-brother, Alois, he did. Now, his father and a young 19-year-old servant girl by the name of Franziska were the parents of Alois, born in Vienna, as I say, out of an affair not long after the father had married his first wife. It was only when his wife died in 1883 he was able to legitimise the son, and thus Alois Jr. gained the family surname Hitler.
So how did Alois come to Ireland?
There seems to have been quite a lot of tension in the family household between Alois Sr. and Jr. A very unhappy household. He leaves as a young man in his late teens, ultimately ending up in Ireland via London. Now, what becomes of him here, he seems to find trouble. He's arrested twice for theft, serving sentences of several months in 1900 and again in 1902. Somehow, the Austrian finds himself working as a waiter, though, in the very, very prestigious Shelbourne Hotel. The Burke's Hotel of the 19th century, one of the real symbols of wealth in early 20th century Dublin. This Austrian lands a gig there as a waiter.
Now, but he was swanning around the horse show pretending to be a rich, exotic, and he was exotic, an exotic foreigner. He caught the eye of an Irish woman.
He was exotic insofar as he was a foreigner. He wasn't really what he claimed to be, though, at the Dublin Horse Show. In 1909, he bumps into a family, the Dowlings, and he talks to William Dowling and the daughter Bridget and convinced them that he's not a waiter in a hotel. This Austrian is a hotel magnate. He owns a string of properties right across Europe. So he exaggerates his story somewhat. Now, Bridget, a convent girl from Glendalkin, falls totally head over heels for him. Totally head over heels. And we know that, soon after the Dublin Horse Show, there's dates in the National Gallery, for example, and talk of marriage follows soon afterwards.
So what do they do? Do they elope?
They leave Ireland, and they have to, on the basis that Bridget's father begins to disapprove of the relationship. And maybe the man saw trouble on the horizon with the family. They elope to London and they marry in secret. And it's a mad story because Mr. Dowling, he tries to get Hitler charged, Alois Hitler Jr. that is, with kidnapping. And he fails to do this. Now the story gets even more bizarre when they settle down in Liverpool and have a child by the name of William Patrick Hitler. And he enters Irish pub lore, Irish folklore as Paddy Hitler. Now, Alois Jr. seems to have just abandoned the family, going to Germany in 1914, and like the father, a bit of an eccentric, he attempts to fake his own death. He marries another woman while in Germany. The rouse is discovered, and he's charged with bigamy. Bridget intervenes for whatever reason. And it doesn't go anywhere. So it's a crazy, crazy story.
Now, William Patrick has been abandoned by his father. His mother is caring for him, Bridget Dowling. But when he starts to come of age, when he gets to adulthood, there is a calling on him from the father to come to Germany. Does he ever meet his half-uncle Adolf?
I should say, firstly, one thing I forgot there about their time in Liverpool. I think this is amazing. A real bitter twist in the whole story. The family house in Liverpool. There's no plaque on it today. You can't go and see it. It was reduced to rubble in the last German bombing of Liverpool in 1942.
No way, really?
So Hitler reduced his half-brother's house to rubble in 1942.
Did Paddy Hitler ever meet Adolf?
Depends who you believe. He definitely did in Germany, but it depends. Did he meet him in Liverpool is a great debate. And Bridget insisted that Adolf had visited them in Liverpool. She made her claims in a very sensationalist book, My Brother-in-Law Adolf, published in the early stages of World War II. It was a very poorly written book. It was designed clearly to move units rather than to win awards. She makes amazing claims in the book. The Glendalkin woman claims that she advised Hitler to trim the edges of his moustache, for example, giving him that famous look. She claims that Hitler lived with them in Liverpool while avoiding the draft for World War I. So it's funny because in Liverpool, much like here in Dublin, there's a million versions of that story in Liverpool pubs. They talk about Adolf's time in Liverpool before World War One, but historians are very dismissive of Bridget Dowling's claims that Adolf Hitler visited them in Liverpool.
Okay, so there's a curiosity, there's a question over Bridget's testimony there, but Patrick goes to Germany.
He does. And he becomes incredibly resentful towards Uncle Adolf, claiming that he's not assisting him in finding a well-paid job. In 1939, he publishes an article in Look magazine entitled "Why I Hate My Uncle." And it's a real attack on Adolf. The editor notes, William Patrick Hitler is the son of Adolf Hitler's half-brother. His mother is Irish, but he was born and reared in England. He is now in America with his mother on a lecture tour. His bitterness towards his uncle is best understood in the light of the following facts. His father deserted his mother and married again without divorcing her, and his uncle never helped rear the son.
Now, the Paddy Hitler name is going to disappear in the final part of our story because Bridget and William Patrick move to the United States. He ends up serving for the Allies under a different name.
Another crazy dimension to the story, Bridget and William moved to the United States in 1939, and William enlists in the American Navy in 1944. And there was said to be some laughter in the recruitment office when a man by the name of Hitler presents himself for duty for the cause of defeating Hitler. It's an insane
story. So Hitler's
story.
nephew served in the US Armed Forces against Germany.
In the war against fascism. Now, he goes on speaking tours of the United States, denouncing Adolf and the actions of his infamous uncle. Both William and his mother are buried in a small Long Island Catholic cemetery today. The name on the graves is Stuart Euston. And this was quite common, I suppose, when you look across Hitler's family tree, people attempting to distance themselves from one of the most notorious surnames in history. So Paddy Hitler, he rests today, a World War II veteran of the American Navy in New York.
All right, Donald, absolutely fascinating. Donald Fallon of the Come Here To Me blog. Tell us about the tours. Where can people find you?
Every Saturday, and we tell this story every Saturday at 11:30 from the Little Museum of Dublin. We do a tour of Stephen's Green Park, including Alois Hitler's hotel, the Shelbourne.
Okay.